All right, I gotta start off with this crazy stat I just found. Less than 3% of Americans are at or below 15% body fat. Let that sink in. And it's crazy because there are countless amount of guys that say they want to get lean, yet those are the numbers. That is such a contradiction. It's a crazy contradiction. In this video, I want to break down why so many guys want to get lean, but they never end up doing it. And it has nothing to do with their gym, their workout program, the cardio protocol, none of that. I'm gonna break down some of the other stuff that really matters. Because most guys wanna know, right? Like, yo, how do I eat? Or how do I do this? What's the protocol? What cardio do you do? Do you do HIIT? Like, I get asked all the time, like, what's the nutrition look like? How much protein are you eating? Right? What foods are you avoiding? And I've coached enough, right? And I see this pattern where a lot of guys, and just guys I've coached and consulted, where they overall know what to do. I've literally been on calls with guys where they're like, I asked them, do you know what a calorie deficit is? And they're like, yeah. Okay, you understand how MyFitnessPal works? Yeah. You understand steps matter? Yeah. You lift? Yeah. Okay. So what has caused you not to do that? And sometimes they're just stunned. They're just saying, I don't know. Because guys, just like anything in life, but in the context of like getting lean, right? Getting sub 15%, sub 12, 10% body fat, it is really so much more important to focus and make sure that you are like truly bought in, right? Like you are willing to actually do the work required to get the results that you want. And so many guys where they want the result, they want the six pack, they want the aesthetic look, they want the whatever, right? They want the ab veins, all that stuff. V-taper, the V-taper, they want all that, but they're not willing to actually put in the work. Or once they figure out, or they're handed like the protocol, right? Which is pretty simple, right? Calorie deficit, lifting at least 4 times a week. I'd say for the most amount of like gains that's consistently able to be stuck to, right? Things like that, tracking calories, weighing food, that throws off so many guys. They're just out of it. They don't want to, they instantly give up. Because it's work, it is work. Okay, there's ways to make it easier, there's ways to make it harder. But at the end of the day, it is work to get truly lean. And there is a reason why when you walk into Walmart, go the next time you go to Walmart, look around and see how many dudes actually have veins, 3D delts. You can tell they're actually like fit, lean, in shape. Like forget just ripped, just look at how many guys are fit that look like they somewhat work out. It's very hard. Most of them got stomachs. Most of them definitely just look above 20, 30% body fat. It's because it takes work. Okay, it takes a certain amount of dedication, a willingness to put in the work to get the results. And so some of the common traps I see with guys, and this is some of these I relate to so much, right? Number one is having shiny object syndrome, right? Trying to switch up your diet, trying to switch up your workout, your program, right? Like I've literally seen it where it's like, oh, I'm doing keto, or I'm doing fasting, or you're doing multiple things at once, right? You're complicating stuff so much more than it needs to. And the thing about novelty and like trying to keep things exciting with your approach to like things in life, it just kills consistency, guys. It's so cliche, but I can tell you from experience, I saw lasting results when I stopped trying to change the plan. Whether that was increasing my pull-ups, losing fat, getting stronger at anything, like it doesn't matter. Improving whatever area of life, it just requires boring work over the course of a long enough time. You have to give it time, right? Like people try to make like quick oats with the results. They want 1 minute oats. They want, we'll throw it in the microwave for a minute. They want results. But often a lot of the dreams and aspirations when guys talk to me about reaching their full potential, making this crazy transformation, you have to almost imagine if you're planting a tree. And trees don't grow overnight. It takes years. Okay, some of you, it takes months, but from that perspective, right, that example, it's thinking about it very long term, right? And so being able to just choose a protocol, because fat loss can be done in so many ways, but when you actually pick a way and stick to it, That's how you win with that, right? Another trap is like the panic bulking, right? It's where a lot of guys are actually able to like get into a calorie deficit kind of mode when they lock in, right? First 2 to 4 weeks. But during a cut, guys, and I've made a video on this, you're going to look worse before you look better. And it's mind-boggling, but it's necessary, right? It's actually a test of like patience and how much you want this, because you're gonna look flat, you're gonna look watery, you're gonna look like you're losing muscle. And I used to do this, right? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cut, and then I'd be like, oh my God, I'm losing muscle, and it's like, bro. And then you start coping, thinking I need to bulk, right? I need to bulk. And what's really happening is just your body's basically going into calorie deficit mode, and it's releasing the stored up energy, the glycogen in your muscles, right? The water, right? It's starting to get into this mode of like, all right, we're gonna start cutting, right? It gets into cutting mode. But during that transition phase, you look like shit a little bit. Your arms, especially when I go through that, my arms shrink. Like it feels terrible. But when you've gone through this, you're able to stay a little bit more. A big thing, right? It's the thing about getting lean that I feel like most guys don't really think about. And this is something that I can attest to, is getting lean is this process of just like getting there, and then you'll be disciplined, right? Or once you get lean, or once you be there, you'll be so dialed in, or you'll have a certain just transformation. That's how you'll build the mental strength once you're there. But the journey to there is where that's built, right? And if you do not become that version of you that's lean, that has that discipline with food and working out and everything, if you don't become him before you look that way, you're never gonna get there. You have to be bought into this vision of yourself that you can't physically see, right? Where you are lean. Like I remember going on the track and hitting my running workout, and I just remember thinking that way, like I am lean. And I wasn't that lean at that time, but I was bought into that. When I was walking on the treadmill, I just told myself, I just looked at myself, and I would just, I just try to give myself this vision and this vibe of already being there, being with like a rippling six pack, right? Or having these cut shoulders. When I wasn't barely that far into my like first successful fat loss phase. And so it's really, you have to embody that version of yourself before you become him. Because, right? Becoming that version of yourself requires elevation. That's why I love going after this. I love pursuing, right now I'm pursuing sub 10% body fat, because I understand the version of me that is required to get there. I want to become him, right? And that's the switch you have to make. Yes, it's nice to have the six pack. Yes, it's nice to have the V taper, the cut up shoulders, all that stuff, right? The bicep vein. But man, once you go through it, you start to really, you have to become this person, and it's enjoyable. And once you've gone through it once, look at what I mean. But even in that first like initial process and attempt that's successful, you have to become such a different person. You have to let go of so many habits and nail down so many new ones, because elevation requires separation. Separation from bad habits, separation from certain people sometimes, certain friend groups, certain places you frequent, like the bar, the club, right? Places where you stay up 2 a.m. when you know your ass should be in bed at 10, 11, right? It's realizing that, right? It's becoming that guy, that version of you who is lean. That what does he do? I guarantee you, he doesn't go to the club, he doesn't stay out late, he doesn't get pressured at the potlucks to eat the crap because, it feels rude. No, he just doesn't do that. So you have to become that version. Right? And I think another thing too is like waiting, right? Being patient, waiting for the perfect time, waiting till, I hear it all the time, man, like, oh, I don't want to get started with my lock-in right now. It's a busy season for my job, or I'm waiting till January. Oh my God, dude. Like waiting till a certain point. Because I'm telling you, I got in the best shape of my life when I was the busiest. When I worked my first like full-on full-time job. I've never done that. 40 hours a week, 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. Landscaping, it was a labor job. Furniture moving, trimming, weed whacking, like full on dirty. Like you would be like, right, like exhausted by the end of the day. But I would still do my workouts, still make time to meal prep, still do this, right? And on top of that, I was building my business. I was posting content. First time ever in my life. And I got into the best shape of my life. And I've been through it, okay? I'm not like these influencers that have like 8 hours a day to work out and do their thing, right? Like I know what it's like to go through a week where you are constantly, you're going to work, you're busy. Like I know what it's like, but I still made it work. And it just goes to show that you can do it. I've worked with guys who work like DuPont shifts, which I'm not gonna explain too much, but it's crazy. It's like 12-hour shifts. You get a couple days off, 12 hours, like something like that, but it's ridiculous, right? Like getting off work at midnight or working overnight shifts and still able to lose like 17 pounds in 12 weeks. And it just goes to show, man, like you have to be able to act on your goals when things aren't ideal, when you're in a busy season of your life, when you have a lot going on, right? And honestly, like when you think about that way, that is externalizing because you're not willing to actually make it work. That is externalizing, right? When you make excuses like that, because that is, so many people do have the same 24 hours as you. But it is those who win that actually find a way that get the results, regardless of their schedule, regardless of all their obligations, besides like their fitness. They just make it work, bro, right? Like fit people are not fit for the summer. They're fit year round, no matter what their situation is. I think one thing is that guys who don't get lean typically haven't experienced a look in the mirror moment as well, right? You think about one day, there isn't particularly like a crazy moment when I think back to like when I finally decided to go all in and really like go after this it was just one day. You just will wake up and you'll have this moment where you were like, man, I'm tired of this, bro. I'm tired of not, because at the time I was going to the gym 5-6 days a week, eating healthy, right? Eating clean, more than most people I knew. And I did not look like it. I did not look it at all. I mean, most people would be like, oh yeah, bro, you're big, you're strong. But I knew deep down, that is not how I wanted to look. That was not reflective of who I am, right? Because I take pride in my physique to a degree where it is a reflection of my standards for myself. And that's how I think you should think of your physique as well. It should reflect that, because a lot of guys have these inner qualities of being ambitious and having certain standards for their life. And I believe the physique, like building that physique, is your business card if you want to build a business one day. It is showing people, and it speaks for you. It speaks that, hey, I'm able to keep commitments to myself. I'm able to like stick to a plan. I am trustable because I can trust myself to execute on something consistently over and over, right? So it's waking up one day and just being like, I need to change this because this is not, my body is not reflective of that, right? Because I knew at the time who I am, what I wanted to do to a degree, like, and I just knew my body was not aligned with that. I just didn't feel aligned. So until you have that moment, you're very prone to being like, oh, it would be dope, it would be nice to have abs, or I'm gonna do a little bit of cardio. You half-ass it. But until you wake up in the morning one day and look in the mirror and you're just like, bro, I can't, I'm over this, I'm over it. You're just gonna stay kind of okay with where you're at. Like it bothers you, but you're like, it's whatever. But until you kind of wake up and have that mirror where you're like, all right, enough of this. It's time to like match my body with who I say I want to be and who I am, who I know I am, right? You have to have that moment, right? That killer instinct to be like, I am not gonna hope that I get in shape anymore by like eating healthy here and there and doing some cardio. No, I'm going to make it impossible for me to not lose at least 20 pounds over the next 90 days. So you have to have a deadline. Like by July, I had a deadline. By July 1st, when I first did this, I had a deadline 3 months out. By July 1st, I will be 185. I was 185 beginning of June. Yeah, I was well past my goal. Right? You literally need to set a deadline and just go after it and be like, I'm going to hit this. This is my deadline. I'm going to go there. Some people say you shouldn't have deadlines. It worked for me. It might work for you. But regardless, you just need to have that moment where you're like, I'm not leaving this up to chance. I am making it unreasonable for me to not be at this point, whatever your goal is at the moment, by this point. Like, you need to have urgency. Until you have that, you're gonna stay stuck, right? And so when you have that moment though, once you do, I'm telling you, stick to that, capture that, and just carry forward. Because once you do, man, like once you fully go all in, you are capable of it. It is literally just deciding, what are you sick of, right? What do you want to become? Who do you want to become? And the guys who get lean, the guys who actually make those transformations you see on Instagram and on YouTube and all this shit, like those guys just simply were just like, enough of this shit. They just got tired of looking in the mirror, seeing the gut, seeing the back fat, seeing the man, but they just got tired of it. Same as me. I got tired of being like, bro, I go to the gym 6 days a week. I average 20K steps a day, playing basketball, doing cardio, and I didn't look like it. You just gotta wake up one day and be sick of it. And once you do and go all in, it's it, bro. You can win. You can win, but you have to have that instinct, right? And it's definitely, there's so many things with it too that you build along the way, right? It's like the confidence in yourself, the self-respect, the self-belief, right? On top of the health, right? Because yeah, health is nice, but just the intangibles and the kind of man and version of yourself that you have to become in pursuit of this, that is a gem in all of this for me. At this point, I appreciate that the most. Yes, the physique is nice and everything, but just the version of me that I have to become, the version that I do become when I am freaking dialed, I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. So, but it's definitely, there's a lot of trials. There's a lot of trials along the way, but once you buy into your vision, you're not gonna let anything call you, like anything stop you, right? Call you out of it. Like I said earlier, I could sit here and I'll plan on doing some videos on like nutrition and just for people who genuinely are confused, like guys who are like, oh my God, there's so much conflicting information. But I truly believe a majority of the guys that especially just from guys I speak to, like it's really just about the mindset, bro. Like, are you bought into this? Are you about this? Are you about this? That is it. And if you are about it, right, and you are sick of going to the gym 5-6 days a week, eating healthy, doing cardio, and you're still looking the same, there's a link in the description. You can book in a call with me. We'll kind of go over what's holding you back, what's in the way, what are you currently doing, what can we do to like help you overcome your roadblocks. And if you seem like a good fit for my one-on-one coaching program, I'll invite you to join and we'll get you some results in the next 90 to 120 days. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe, stick around. Plan on uploading more of these. Drop a comment if you got called out, because all these points I went over are from real life stories I've had where I just talked to guys, consulted with guys online, guys I've coached. Like, it's all real stuff, my personal life. So if there's something spoke out to you, definitely let me know. Any other videos you want help on, like nutrition, training, I'll definitely plan on covering stuff like that. Besides that, I'll see you in the next one.